Hey, everybody. Welcome to another weekly Coffee with a Jedi. Have my coffee here. Hopefully, you have something that you prefer tea, coffee, water, whatever. And we're going to get into it. I'm going to try to get these cards, the general reading, done as soon as possible. So we'll start off with our affirmations. And we'll see where the chat takes us today, if anywhere. We'll see how busy it gets. We'll see what pops up. I have a couple topics that maybe we can refer to, but don't have a lot on the mind this week, so we'll just see what the cards have for us and take it from there, shall we? All right, so what is our affirmation for this week? What affirmation do we need? Too many. Still too many. One affirmation. We'll get to other affirmations. All right, there's one affirmation for this. I'm not doing all those. All right. Let's see. Peyton the Nerd, hello, and Zeno, good morning. Okay, so we'll pull our affirmation first. This is our general reading. I am gifted. I have natural skills that set me apart from everyone around me. I will shine through for everyone to see. We've pulled this one before. It's important. You have gifts. Those are going to be your gifts, unique to you. You have natural skills that set you apart. I know it doesn't feel that way a lot of the times, or at least for a long time, for many, many years, I wouldn't vibe with this at all. I'd be like, that's incorrect. But it is true, and we'll get more into that later. We'll move on to guidance to try to get this general reading done and out of the way and focus on the chat. And then I'll have to assign some moderators just in case, because I'm not going to be paying attention. What's our guidance for the week? Guidance for the week. Still too many. Oosh. Okay, guidance. Again, we've pulled this one, so familiar face, familiar card. We all have big dreams about what we want to be someday, but it takes actions to make dreams come true. Write a list of your dreams for the future, then list the things you can do to make those dreams come true. Basically, an action plan. For doing the things that you want to do. Setting your time, setting your schedule, doing the best you can. Schedules both work for me and don't. They work for me because structure is actually really good for me, but ADHD, following a schedule is pretty impossible. But here we are. You have to at least write it out, give yourself a general guideline, a general understanding, a general direction on it, at least where you want to go. How's everyone's Sunday going today? It's going, it's still starting for me, so undetermined as of yet for myself. Let's see. Also, we'll do inspiration activity here in a second. I just want to get some moderators going. So we're going to go ahead and add Zeno and add Peyton the Nerd as moderators. Again, if it's mainly just if you see the N and then the I, we've had a couple of those those type of trolls come in. So just if you see that, go ahead and take care of it if I'm not paying attention. All right, so what's our inspiration for the week? For the week? Inspiration for the week. Okay, another familiar face. Inspiration. That's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate, saving what we love. Everyone faces struggles in life. Approaching them with a positive outlook can be the key to success. This is an interesting card. So I think our inspiration here, or at least what I take away from this inspiration, is just being able to adjust your focus. Remember, your focus determines your reality, right? So focusing, you can focus on the negative, you can focus on the hate, you can focus on that, but trying to fight that, or, that's going to be difficult. But if you focus on the things that you're trying to preserve, focus on the things that bring joy, and the things that you love, and the things that you want to see more of in the world. When you want to bring more of the things you want to see into the world, bring that. Focus on the end goal. What does the end goal look like? And then do that. Be that. Live that. Logan, the mad philosopher. Welcome. Oh man, when I'm playing Snowy Striker, yeah. So, how are my Jedi friends doing? Doing well, being well? I would hope so. All right. So, and then our general activity for the week, general activity, and then we'll do personal readings if you so desire. We'll go from there. All right. General activity for the upcoming week. Did anybody do the activity from last week? It was food. Should have tried a new food, tried a new flavor, new something. I tried a chickpea rice bowl. No, Greek flavor. At least that's how I describe it. But it was good. It's good. All right, one activity for the week. What is our activity for the week? All right, activity for the week. Get together with friends and plan a day of community service. Even a small group of people can make a big change when they work together. Hey, this is actually a new one we haven't pulled before through any of our readings, really. So this is a really good one. I like this one. One of the things that I used to do, and it was in our Jedi Academy, and it's still in, I think it's in this book right here, is, or maybe it's Jedi Circle. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't read my books in a long time. I haven't written my books in a long time. But the thing was, like, to go out to the park or walk around the neighborhood, if you can do that. If you have like a local park or just walking around the neighborhood, I have a place up here that I call Jedi Hill. And I'll go up there every once in a while and with a trash bag, and I'll just pick up the trash. Just pick up the litter. And you could do that at a local park or around your neighborhood, things like that. Just kind of pick it up, clean it up. And this one says, hey, here's your activity. Get together with friends. Plan a day of community service. So call up a couple friends, I know Melville might have problems with that, but call up some friends and have a day. Go out to the park, clean it up, do something like that. It can be fun. You can make a thing out of it. It doesn't have to be just that, right? Like you can enjoy like a barbecue out there or something like that. Have a little get together and make sure that you clean up the park. So this is a really good activity, and I highly recommend it if you can do it. And again, there's many ways to go about that. If you're not like a go out there kind of person, you can even do that online. You can do like streams or something like that, or put together. There's plenty of online fundraising routines and things like that. So, I mean, I don't like the modders. Well, I'm not asking you to mod the chat or, create mods. Just asking you to make sure we don't get any obscene things. I'm going to try to stay on top of it. I made a routine and cleaned my room. Always a good thing. It's always tough, at least for me. Hope you're doing well. So I would be honored for a 3-card pool. Goes into mentioning. Which 3 cards are you looking at? Because we have the affirmations, we have the guidance. Try to pull this up without hitting things. We have obviously inspiration and of course activity, which we just pulled for our general readings. So which 3 cards are you looking at? Let me look in YouTube here. And let's see. Something drew me here. I can't even click away. Like I'm here to learn something. YouTube's. All right. I mean, maybe. There are many ways to learn things. So that's always, you know, the lessons in life do not always come in a shiny ribbon. They do not always come easily, and they do not always come happily. Okay, random 3 cards, huh? Okay, we'll mix these up. Before I mix these up, does anyone have a card, a poll that they want to do that's singular? Let that, you know, a singular poll. All right, I'm just going to pull these 3 then. I want to mix this up, mix these up, and see what we get. See what we get. See what we get. Okay. All right, let's see. So, yeah, you might want to sit back, take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, relax. See what the cards, the force, the flow, the Zoe, the current, the source. What does it have in store for you? What messages do you need to hear for the upcoming week? What do you need for the week? Or at least that's how I do it. Might be lifetime. Who knows? You can interpret it how you need to interpret it. But let's do that. So close your eyes, deep breaths, center the self, and put it out there. Put it out there. Put it out there. All right. Okay. That was quick. Cool. You got 4. Ugh. You got 4. We'll do this in a way. Okay. Your first one, you got 2 affirmations, an inspiration, and an activity. So we'll start with the first affirmation. Say it along. I am loyal. I know how important true friendship is. The bonds I build now are the ones that can last a lifetime. I am loyal. I know how important true friendship is. So build those bonds. Build those bonds. Believe in your friendship. Okay, inspiration. Inspiration. Then we'll do another affirmation first. Here's your other affirmation. I have hope. I can face any challenge as long as I have faith that my path is on the side of the light. So, you are loyal and know the importance of true friendship. You have hope and can face any challenge as long as you have faith that your path is on the side of the light. Here's your inspiration. I always love this card. This is one of my favorite. I am one with the force is with me. You are connected with all that exists in the universe. You are never truly alone. This is an important one. I feel this seems to tie in really well there. And this one does tie in because I feel this, a lot of people read this. I don't want, like, you can read it however you need to, but I don't read this strictly as romantic, right? Activity. Tell someone that you love them, even if you're pretty sure that they already know. And remember, there's different kinds of love out there, right? There's different levels of love. There's different things of love. You love your friends. which could tie into the cards. Obviously, there's romantic love. Obviously, there's parental love. There's love for your siblings. There's love for your children. There's love for your pets. There's love for art, for meditation. There's all sorts of love. Love for nature, right? Tell someone that you love them, even if you're pretty sure that they already know. You are never truly alone. You're connected with all that exists in the universe. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. Have hope. Have hope. You can face any challenge as long as you have faith that your path is on the side of the light. And I am loyal. I know how important true friendships is. The bonds I build now are the ones that can last a lifetime. There you go. Those are your polls. Those are your cards. There it is. Hopefully it resonates. You've got a little OMG going on. So hopefully that's resonating. So hopefully, the message comes through for you. It is for you. You don't have to explain or do any of that here. It's for you to, the force, the flow, the source, the current, all of it, regardless of the cultural name, that's for you. That's for you. All right, we'll put those over there. Actually, what we're going to do, I'm going to separate these out. Okay, these books. And go. Okay. All right. Good morning, Melvo. Good morning. How you doing? Good to see you here. Melvo always gets the... Oh, hey, cool. It stays. Oh, I don't have to set it up each week. That's awesome. All right. Excellent. I love my friends, my parents, my two sisters. There you go. Plenty of love to give and go around. Don't forget to tell them. In your own way, of course. Don't feel you have to do anything. I'll make time to show up every time and hope someone watching will be helped. That is always you're my hero, sir. Never meet your heroes. You don't want that. That's a bad idea. But I'm happy that the cards thing. But remember, like that's a connection thing, right? Like we're all part of the Zo, the Force, the current, the source, the flow, whatever verbiage works for you. But we're all part of that. We're all connected through that, and so it's all an extension. It's all an extension. So it's you as much as me, and it's me as much as it's the Force, and all that and that fun stuff. Of course, anytime. The power of friendship is what I hold dear to, and the passion you have. I support it. I support it. It's important. I believe in it. I definitely is why I love certain animes that definitely and TV shows and things like that lean into that trope. I enjoy that sappy stuff, man. I love it. Those are fun ones. I love the friendships we made along the way type stuff, I still want them to win, of course, but I definitely like the friendships made and explored and that they explore diversity and things of that nature. So I definitely think friendship's important, and you gotta let your friends know how you feel, that you love them, that you appreciate them, that you're there for them, and that that they make a difference in your life. That can be hard. Sometimes we take that for granted. Sometimes we forget ourselves. So it's always nice for the reminders. So don't feel you have to do that. When I get better upgrades to my internet and get webcam, I'll do readings for free. I have Cthulhu's tarot cards. Very nice. That's really cool. I recommend it. There's a lot of channels out on YouTube that do tarot readings and stuff like that, and I always find them fun. They're tarot cards, and I mean obviously these aren't tarot cards, but they're always great for self-reflection. They're a great tool to reflect and kind of, it's almost like, my partner is fond of saying, if you're ever unsure, flip a coin, because when that coin's in the air, you already know where you want it to land. You already know whether or not you want it to land on heads or tails, right? And so if you're ever unsure, flip a coin, because that's going to kind of bring to the forefront of your mind what it is you truly want, what you truly want. And tarot cards have kind of the same effect, right? Like, you ask a question, but you kind of know what you're looking for. And the truth is there, right? It's all connected. Again, it's all connected to the flow, the force, the universe, the Zoe. It's all connected. So you're not doing anything that's not already there, right? If you're connected to that source, then the answers are already there within you. But having a focusing tool, having something to help you explore that and listen to the inner voice, right? To listen to that voice of the universe, always a benefit. And always having someone, someone out there who will do it for you, who's experienced in it and who can break it down and who can go through it. It's important. It's important stuff. It's good stuff. It's always tools. I always like tools. Tools are fun. Broke out of life and stole from the great ones. Kiss the homies goodnight. Absolutely. I'm also thinking of doing a read along with my books and to help me read. It's all the reason I started my YouTube channel in the first place was because I took part in a documentary, or even before that. The reason why I started my YouTube channel was because I did an interview, and then a news station wanted to do a television interview, based on the magazine interview. And I went to that, and I was super out of my element, super uncomfortable, super not confident, right? And I realized I had to work on that. And then, I started taking part in this documentary and realized exact same thing. And I'm not comfortable in front of the camera, basically. So I started the YouTube channel to help me get used to talking to the camera and to get more used to talking to people and talking out my ideas and talking out the things that I know, talking about the knowledge, talking about the Jedi path, just getting comfortable with it, just getting comfortable talking. So using YouTube as again, speaking of tools, using it as a tool to help grow and to work on areas that we know we can improve upon is always something that I would encourage. It's something that I did myself. So it's definitely something that I would encourage for others to do if they feel it would help. And again, it's not for everybody. Not everybody's looking to put themselves out there, and that's fine too. But same thing, like if you're looking to do that, then absolutely. I did it once for that book right there, The Situational Jedi. Just when I had published it, I did just before, I think it was, I did a live reading and taking questions. So I read a chapter and then taking questions in relation to that as I was going through it, as I was going through that chapter, So I did this, but we went through a chapter of my book. And it went okay. It was good. Like, it wasn't great. It wasn't like groundbreaking or anything, but it helps with the reading. It helps with going through your own material. It helps that way clear things up as well. So if you're working on a future project, you get a better understanding of where you might need to adjust your writing for people to understand and things like that. So highly recommend all of that. So you're telling me what I need to hear. No, yes. And I mean, I guess, but no, right? Yes and no. If you need to hear it, then you need to hear it. But I'm just telling you my experience and my, the things that I've gone through and, the importance of that. So, and how it helped me. It definitely made a difference for me. I'm definitely more comfortable in front of a camera now. So if those opportunities, they may never come up again, because you know how opportunities work, but those opportunities may never come up again. But if they do, I'll be much more able to handle them, and much better, in a much better place to handle them. You know, I still have my own issues with speaking and such, but that's a brain thing. All right. Anybody else want any polls? Right now we have the cards are all mixed up. So does anybody want some random polls? We can do a random card drawing. If you do want specifics, we can do that too. It'll just take me a minute to get the cards back into order, but we can do that as well. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you're always free to throw those into the chat, and you can talk about those. Random for me, random for me. Okay, 2 randoms. We'll do it in order. Zeno kind of cheated because he withheld letters. All right, Zeno, I'll get you. 1 random for you, and then 1 random for Melbo coming up. All right, so as normal. And for Gem, because I abbreviate names, sort of, sometimes. So we'll do this in order. All right, Zen. You got nothing to apologize for. You got nothing, and you shouldn't be apologizing to me. You're the one who beat out Melbo. You gotta apologize to Melbo, man. You don't have to apologize to me. Nah. Sit back, relax, close your eyes, a few deep breaths. What does the force, the source, the Zoe, the flow, the current, the universe have to say for Zeno? All right, let's. One card for Zeno. That's what we're looking for. Come on, 1. Come on, 1. That's not 1. That's causing problems. Hey, knock that off. Knock that off. That's not how we're doing this today. All right. Inspiration. What do we got? Inspiration. Zeno. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. It doesn't matter what we look like on the outside. We are capable of extraordinary things. And we'll do a little book here. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. And the book opened right up to it. All right. Whether we're short and green or tall and furry, what really makes each of us shine is the spirit within us. What do you think people see when they look at you? How does it differ from who you are on the inside? How can you show your inner self to the world more clearly? Okay, can we get there? There you go. Luminous beings are we. Zeno, stop with that outward nonsense. Be true to yourself. Be true to the inner spirit. Do the things that reflect who you are on the inside, and that will shine through outwardly. So be true to that inner self. We've pulled that one before. So I'm going to put that one over there. Okay. Melbo. You got 1. Sit back, relax, deep breaths. deep breaths. And we'll get one card. One card for Melbo. And I actually think we pulled this one for you recently. I don't know. Seems familiar. I think we did. My memory's not great, though. Pass on what you have learned. We all have different skills. Find something that you're good at and teach a friend how to do it. Ask them to show you something in return. I'm pretty sure we pulled this for you because it was telling you to go out and find a friend. Just messing with you. But yeah, again, if you have different, you have skills, you have your own things that you do, find a way to pass it on in some manner to someone. Show someone something and have them show you something. But that could be anybody. That could be someone around the house too. I don't know. Maybe you have a dog. Maybe they can show you how to just like take a nap and chill out for like 2 seconds. I don't know. I have no idea, but pass on what you have learned. And then you can learn, you can learn them something. You can learn them like patience, like how to sit and wait for food. Who knows? You're going to have to figure that one out, but pass on what you have learned. All right. This one has a book too. So we'll read it. And again, we've opened right to it. This is 2 for 2, opening up right to it. We'll get there. I'm going to read it for you. I'm just putting it up here in case you need to pause it. Before he becomes one with the Force, Yoda reminds his young apprentice, Luke Skywalker, to always share his knowledge and experience with others. Luke follows Yoda's advice and attempts to rebuild the Jedi Order. I would say he attempts to follow his advice. Depending on, it doesn't really matter what your view is on the sequels or not, but technically canon. So you have to go with it. And in that, Luke does the thing that I think a lot of people do when they're thrust into the spotlight, where they feel they have to be this thing, right? They have to be this very specific ideal, and they don't. And so they hide their flaws, and they hide their fears, and they hide their insecurities, and they hide the mistakes that they made in life. And they try to bring people up past those mistakes. But you can't do that, right? You can't. No one's perfect. Throughout human history, there is not one person. There's not one that is exalted today. And it doesn't matter the culture. It doesn't matter the nationality. It doesn't matter any of that. Any person, any country that exonerates, that extols the virtues of a certain individual, that individual, there's always something there that's just not that. That's not good. That's not great. That's not a good look. You know what I mean? It may have been accepted in the culture at the time, but that doesn't make it okay, right? So you have to pass on those failures. You have to pass on the mistakes. You have to teach your experience. And sometimes that experience is, here's how I messed it up. Do with that what you will. I tried to do this thing and I failed. I'm gonna get to you, Zeno. I want to get to this, but I want to get to Gem first. I want to get to this first, but I'm gonna get to you, Zeno, on that one, because facing your stuff is never. It's not the easiest for sure, but it's important, and you got to remember that you got to accept the whole. You got to accept the whole. And glitch art sounds cool, so yeah, hopefully people check that out. Logan, gotta go, guys. May the Force be with you. So gotta go. May the Force be with you, Logan. Have fun, man. Take care. All right. But yeah, facts. We have to pass on. You can't hide. You can't. None of us are perfect, so we have to do that. So, all right. So, I will never be able to say that name. It's just too many. My brain doesn't process it, unfortunately. my brain will not process any of that. I would have to hear it in order for my brain to process it. So I hope you don't take offense that I say Gem instead of the full name. It is just something it is just something the way I read things that, yeah. So unless I heard it, I would not be able to say it. So we'll pull a card here for G. What's up, G? Call you G. What up, G? All right, one card. So sit back, relax. One card for G. Sit back, relax. What does the universe, the source, the force, the current, the flow, the Zo have for G? What message do we got? What message do we got? Too many. Way too many. Sorry. There's too many messages. We need one message. One message. Too many messages. Way too many. One. One message. No. Stop. One message. Two. Fine. Two messages. Just call me Gem. Just call me Gem. That's fine. All right. What's up, Gem? That's fair. Okay, you got two messages. First, inspiration. A little inspiration. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them. There are many ways to interpret a situation. Look at it from all angles before you draw a conclusion. And we'll do a little book here for you. No, book 18. What the heck, man? We are getting right to these days. All right. Some of the tests we face require us to look deeper than what we see in front of us. As Obi-Wan Kenobi teaches Luke Skywalker, when we can't trust our senses to guide us through a trial, we need to trust our instincts instead. Have you ever been in a situation where what you see contradicts what you feel? And I think all of us, come on, all of us have done that one before. Which do you trust more, your eyes or your intuition? I mean, this is one of those ones I think we've all been in a situation where what we see is not we're just reading something else. We're just picking up on something else. We're getting a different message here than what a person or a thing is trying to tell us, and we're like, no. And I have learned to just trust the intuition on that one. If my feelings tell me that a person is no bueno, then that's it. I won't be overly rude or anything, but I am definitely I'm trusting that 100%. You also, Gem, pulled an activity card. Share with a friend. Whether it's your favorite toy or a legendary starship, it feels good to let someone else enjoy the things you love. So share with a friend. Do something with a friend. Today's reading really seems to be about friendship. And reminding your friends that you love them and doing things with them and going out and getting together, doing some community service together. It's all been about friendship today. So, hey, go out there, love your friends, be a part of it, So those are your two cards. Your eyes can deceive you, don't trust them. Basically, trust your intuition. And, hey, go spend some time with friends. Share something you love. Go do it. Go have some fun. Go enjoy that. Go enjoy that friendship. Celebrate it. I like your nail polish. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. We all do. Yeah, we all. I trust in the intuition of the force more, although the eyes can easily deceive. They can. Act card. Okay. Yeah. Continue to do so. Continue to do so. Friendship, my favorite. It's been so our general reading today our activity for the general reading was, get together with friends, plan a day of community service. Even a small group of people can make a big change when they work together. So, that's a good one. Our inspiration was about our focus and finding the positive to see ourselves forward towards success. Our guidance was about dreams, but it takes actions to make the dreams come true. To write a list of your dreams for the future, and then the things that you can do to make those dreams come true. And then that you are gifted and you have natural skills that set you apart from everyone around you. Shine. Allow your natural gifts to let you shine. Don't hide away. Let's see. Have you read A Wrecked Island Dysfunction? I have not. I haven't even heard of it, honestly. I have no idea. I have no idea whether that's fiction, nonfiction, historical, alternative history. I have no idea what that book is. Never heard of it. Sounds cool. Gabe Astrid says hello, by the way. Well, I say hello right back to Gabe. Astrid. See? I'm telling you, the brain's not there. Oh, dang, friendship vibes all around. I'm telling you. We pulled another one. What was the other one? Was it Affirmations? Yeah, one of the affirmations we pulled was about being loyal and knowing how important true friendship is. It's friendship all around, and I think that's important. I think it's important how we define friendship. I think it's important how we view it, and I think it's important how we communicate that. Friendship is a relationship like any other. You need trust, respect, and communication to make that relationship work. Again, it's all relationships, and you got to communicate clearly your needs, your limits, what you can do, what you can't do, what you love, what you don't love. It's actually a conversation that I've had recently with my partner because they're struggling with a friendship right now because it's starting to alter. And, we talked about sometimes friendships grow apart. It doesn't mean the friendship ends. They just grow apart. Like a person might find themselves encouraged to start reading more and start moving in a different direction, or start working on a project more, which requires more research, which requires more time, which requires more things. And so they stop playing a certain video game, or they start doing that certain activity that they always did with their friends, right? Sometimes that's just going out and hanging out, right? Other things take up the time. And so that friendship kind of drifts apart because the mutual enjoyment of that friendship, the mutual interests begin to change. And it doesn't mean you still don't like that person or you still don't care about that person, but you really find you guys don't have anything to really talk about anymore. The things you used to talk about, well, they're not things that you partake in anymore because you're too busy with this thing over here, right? And hopefully it's always an upgrade. That's like what I always hope for people, is that if friendships drift apart, it's because a person's always upgrading. And you can always cheer on that friend. You can always celebrate their success while understanding, well, that's not my thing, right? Like, that's not my interest. I still do this thing over here, and I love doing this thing over here. And I'm going to continue to do this thing over there. And it's like, so we just don't have things to talk about anymore in our time. We don't share this activity anymore. So the friendship drifts apart, and eventually it's there. But does that mean you guys aren't friends? No, it just means that the basis of the friendship, that shared interest and stuff like that, has kind of disappeared. But shared interest alone doesn't mean you're friends with people, right? There's plenty of people that play video games or read books or things that are in your passionate like wheelhouse that you don't like those people, right? Like I am not friends with every single person who calls themselves a Jedi. I'm definitely not friends with every single person in the Jedi community, even though we share that interest and share that passion and share that where we spend our time, you're just not going to like some people. So those qualities that made them your friend, beyond the shared interests, the things that you like about them on an individual level, the things that you like about their demeanor, the way they approach problems, the way that they approach life, those things are still there. So they'll always still be your friend, but you got to realize that sometimes it drifts apart, and that's okay. That's okay. But it's never fun. It's never fun. It's difficult, and especially when it's not an elevation, but when a friend is kind of sinking down and going in the wrong direction. But like, definitely. So you're losing interest, you're losing that time, you're losing those things that you talk about, and they're hanging out with a different element. They're hanging out with different people. They're hanging out, doing different things now, but it's not uplifting them. It's not making their lives any better. It's not really doing anything for them or anyone around them. Like, it really is kind of like sinking down. It's kind of just like burying themselves in the sand. And that can be tough, because of course we always want the best for our friends. We always want to see them uplift. So when they get in relationships that we don't respect, or like with people that we know are treating them poorly, then that's tough. And again, the friendship suffers. It kind of drifts apart. And that's a really difficult thing to address and to be a part of, And yeah, that communication part can be tough. As I've said on here before, part of being my friend is understanding I'm not going to talk to you every day. I'm not gonna be in your DMs every day. I'm not gonna do that. I might like your social media post, but even that's sporadic and sometimes just stops, And yeah, communication is tough, but I'm not going to call you every day. I'm not going to talk to you every day. I'm not going to hang out with you every day. We're not in high school anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not forced to see you every day. But, that's just me these days. There's going to be like a month that you're not going to hear from me. You got to be okay with that. But that's me, right? I'm pretty sure those were fake books. Read the titles fast and aloud. They say rude things. Well, this is why I have mods, in case it goes sideways. I definitely, but hey, good thing I don't, right? This is why Jem knows what I'm talking about. That sometimes my twisted brain saves me from things like that. So yeah. It's always hard when friendships warp and change like that, but you're right. It means you can learn about a new part of your friend's life. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Base Jedi. I'll be driving for a bit, so I won't be able to respond or moderate for a bit. Sorry, I'm late. All good. Never have to apologize. You arrive when you arrive. It's all good. But we got a few moderators now, so Melbo usually stays on top of it, so hopefully. Melbo says, morning, Base Jedi. All right. Months, years. Yeah. I've talked about it before. I've had friends who I haven't talked to in years. And I'm sure there's things we would still be able to connect on and talk about. But I'm sure our interests have changed quite a bit, and our directions and our focus has changed quite a bit. But that's fine, The main thing is you always want to support your friends. You always hope that they're, doing good and that they're moving on to better things. As I said, the tougher part, the real challenge is when you feel like they're not. And we have to accept that everything changes, right? Nothing is permanent. Nothing is sedentary. And when stagnation is death, right? Like that's the tough one. You have to keep moving. You have to keep doing your things. And remembering the things that made you guys friends wasn't just a shared activity, right? As we just talked about, it's about the way they are as a person. And those things can change, but they tend to pretty much stay the same. The way that we approach life, that can change, but there's always certain elements. Like I've always been pretty opinionated, and I've always been pretty like overdeveloped sense of justice, right? Which comes with, I think those two things combine, right? Like if you have an overdeveloped sense of justice, you're gonna be opinionated, and so you're gonna like go. I think it was like what 2-3 weeks ago we had someone in here where we were talking about atheism and Taoism and how those two things are dynamically opposed uh, because when you get to atheism itself, it is automatically it is automatically against the theological concepts, right? And yeah, we were just going rounds, and that happens in the Jedi community like a lot. If you've ever been a part of the forums, that's a daily occurrence, right? But it's on forums, so it's written out, and you don't really get tone of voice or anything like that. And again, like, yeah, I'm opinionated, so I'm willing to go rounds with people. But I think the misunderstanding there, especially and it goes to why I'm friends with the people I am friends with, is that, yeah, I'm opinionated and I filter conversations and I filter experiences through my own lens. So when someone presents something to me, I like, all right, have I been through this? And if I have, here, what was my experience? And if I haven't, how do I feel my experience would be? And it's just my way of continuing the conversation and breaking it down in a way that I understand and continuing that conversation going by asking questions as well as giving my own opinion, right? Opinionated. But if someone's not my friend, they often read that as me trying to convince them to believe a certain way or to think a certain way or to accept my ideology over theirs, when it's never about that. It's me expressing my opinion. It's me expressing the things that I believe and the things that I can back up and the things that I can go through, right? But and my friends understand and so if I talk to my friend from years ago and we got into like a debate, right, they would understand that about me. That hasn't changed over the years, right? So that would kind of be the same. But sometimes we like to make it a 12 raw all computer random characters while we adjust the difficulty level to max. What are you on about? What are you on about, man? I don't even know. That one's going over my head. But yeah, so like friendship is just one of those. That's been the topic today. That's been the topic. So just rambling on that thing, you know. All right. We still have cards if anybody wants a pull. Last week we almost went through the cards. We were getting really low on some of the cards. Like I think it was, I don't know which one it was. If it was inspiration or guidance, we were down to like 3 cards left. If someone asked for them, I was just gonna be like, "Here's 3. Have all 3 for them." Playing video games with friends and bursts of joy and screaming and like playing Super Smash Brothers Ultimate on our Nintendo Switches. Sometimes it's the 5 of us, but sometimes we like to make it. Oh, I get it. I get what you're saying. Make it a 12 brawl all computer random characters while we adjusted it. Okay, there we go. I think my chat came up out of order or something. I don't know. But yeah, like that's absolutely, you know. But that's what, you know, you have fun. You have fun. You share those things, and it's wild. And people outside the friend group might not like realize that, right? You know. And those are experiences. I think people forget that too, that online things and things like this, like playing video games and stuff, presents experiences and stories and fun things. It's just it just takes place in a different kind of realm, if you will. But you still have those experiences. You still have those stories to tell. You still have those like wild things that you get to share amongst each other. So yeah, it's just definitely one of those things where your friend group understands it, and it's important to let people know that you enjoy that. You know, sometimes we forget. Sometimes we take those moments right there for granted. Sometimes we just think it'll always be that way, and of course, it's never that way. INTJ personality type and have to be very careful when I text or message because you can't easily infer tone, inflection in writing. Right. I try to use emojis like more than I should for that exact reason and can come off as condescending without meaning to. I always have a struggle with that because I always feel like that's, it's like, oh, that comes off. And it's like, yeah, but you know me, like, is it like, I feel like people are too often willing to jump to the negative, especially if it's about a topic they're already feeling uncomfortable about or insecure about. But I really feel like our friends, like I've had to take moments like that where I've read a text from a friend and I had to stop for a second and be like, hang on. I'm reading this wrong because they are my friend, you know. I've also done that with people, like exes, where I've done that and I shouldn't have, because they were in fact being antagonistic and condescending, and I gave them the benefit of the doubt because I was like, nah, they wouldn't be doing that, and it's like, oh no, they would, and they are. And I missed signs because of that, right? I missed some of those red flags because of that, because I gave the benefit of the doubt. But I think for our friends, because we're talking friendship here, clearly the theme for this week. But I think for our friends, we have to do that. We have to get to know how they communicate. We can't just everybody shouldn't have to conform. We should understand that people communicate differently, and we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. And when in doubt, ask questions. I've had friends who've messaged me, and I'm like, I'm not sure what you mean here. Like, I'm getting a different meaning. Can you I'm just not getting it because I've felt like this is coming off in a really negative way. And I know my friend isn't trying to be mean or negative or anything. So let me seek clarification. And maybe that's just a Jedi thing, but I highly doubt it. I think that's just as we all go up, to Melbo, saying communication. That's a tough one, oof. But communication it's important, and we need to be willing to ask questions, ask clarification. But most importantly, we need to give our friends the benefit of the doubt. It's nice that you do that for your friends. Don't get me wrong. As I said, I tend to use emojis more because of that, because and I also have a very dry sense of humor, right? I have a sarcastic sense of humor, but I also have a very dry sense of humor. And so it can, people can, like, I've had people stop before and like look at me like I was being, and I'm like, I'm making a joke. It's a dry sense of humor kind of joke. It's just and I deliver it dry as well. So, I mean, that's because to me, that's what's fun, is that dry delivery. So yeah, but you have to learn that. You have to learn how your friends communicate, and sometimes you have to make adjustments and things like that. But yeah, seeking clarification should always be the thing. Sorry, my text has been misspelling. Don't worry about the misspells. Typos are my livelihood. If you've ever read, if you've ever read one of my books, there's typos in there. That's typing, and I try to edit them as best I can. But any author will tell you really can't edit your own stuff because you know what you mean, and your brain will automatically fix it. It's like reading the in the sentence. I don't know if you've ever seen those things where the brain will just skip the second the and complete it, and you have to like go back and notice that, oh yeah, there was two does. Your brain will just like fix it up for you. And so don't worry about that. Typos, misspellings is not a big thing. You have nothing to apologize for. I just think this went out of order, or was it? Yeah, I think this text just went out of order. Because this looks like it goes there and then continues here, right? So I think that's just the issue. Seeking clarification is something that should be taught in schools and early on. Absolutely agree. 100% agree. I would love to redo the entire education system because I think it's totally messed up. It's ridiculous. the things they teach and don't teach. And I really think we need to teach people critical thinking and seeking clarification, communication skills, those types of things, as well as what are people's focuses, what do where do their talents lie, what are the things that they love, those kind of things, and then specializing from that point forward. Let's not get on an educational system rant here, because that's an all day one. But yeah, we have any but I agree, absolutely needs to be. We have some cards if anybody wants a poll. If not, any questions, comments, concerns, and if not, well, heck, we'll call it early. Oof, I was homeschooled, missed out on all of that. You're lucky. You're lucky. I was not, and I hated school, man. I hated school. I did not like any of it. I ended up ditching and ultimately dropping out of high school because like I ditched high school to go to Barnes and Nobles and CompUSA, which existed at the time. I don't know if anybody here is old enough to remember that, but CompUSA, I would ditch school, go to CompUSA and Barnes and Nobles, and I would read all day and learn about computers. That's what, like, and I would play on computers and study them and read books on computers. And then I would be down in Barnes and Nobles reading books on philosophy, spirituality, new age stuff, history, just reading things. And then I'd go home and watch the History Channel, because back then they didn't have reality TV. It was great. They didn't have like opinions. They just had straight up, here's historical events, and here's some of the footage we have from it, and here's some of that. And so you really just got history as it was. No, nothing else. Here's some history. Here's some things that happened. We're just going to teach you history. That's all the History Channel was back then. So I'd watch the History Channel, go to Barnes and Nobles and read books, and then go to CompUSA and play on computers. And that was where I got the majority of my education, because the school system didn't teach me. So, yeah. And then, so I technically finished up homeschooling, because as I said, I kept ditching high school to go learn on my own. And so in order to finish high school, I had to go to a homeschool program. And then the way that homeschool program, besides having like certain structures, was pretty free form, and made sure that as long as I was learning the right things, that I could pass on and get my diploma, which I eventually did. I did school to go to Barnes and Nobles. Yeah, it's yep. That's I was in there. It's funny, right? It is like people ditch school and they go do things. Like sometimes I went out hiking, like in the hills, because I love that too. So I'd go out just hiking in the mountains and stuff like that. But mainly it was, if you divide it up, those were the things. Hiking, Barnes and Nobles, CompUSA, and watching the History Channel. That was my real education. And it was fun. Sitting in Barnes and Nobles in those big comfy chairs during the day, because like it's pretty empty on a weekday, or it used to be. I don't know about now, but on a weekday you get a big comfy chair. You just peruse whatever interests you had that day, right? And because of my brain, my interest would thing. So like I would just peruse. The martial arts section was one of my favorites too. But like you'd go up the philosophy section, spirituality section, religion section, martial arts. They had new age section, which I guess went with the spiritual one. But like history, things of that. And I would just sit and I would read all day. And that's where I got my education. It's why I don't know how to say a lot of words like verbally, like I don't know how to pronounce them, because I learned them by reading in books, and so I wasn't taught these things, right? Like I learned them on my own. I learned them in books, and that was And then and to me, that was the better education for me. Like that's just you know, that was just a better, it was just a better education. Like the school system was just not for me. I don't know. Guess like I'm an old like Greek philosopher that needed to sit outside and have ongoing debates with people, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean everybody is, right, and like finding that way is, as school works for some people. So like some people just excel in it, and it really does teach them. Like they grab onto the knowledge that's taught for them, and that's great. But yeah, it's definitely not me. It's definitely not how I learn. Classroom is not for me. I went to college. I majored in philosophy. That was a little bit better. It was a little bit better, but ultimately, you know, because college still requires you to take classes that have nothing to do with your like major. So I majored in philosophy, minored in sociology, and um, and yeah, it was. But you still have to take like math classes and stuff like that, and math has never been my strong suit, so I didn't last long in there. So yeah, I majored in philosophy, but I was like, this is pointless eventually, and I ended up ditching. College to go to the college library a lot, or the computer lab. I would be at college, and instead of going to class, I would go to the library, which was great. I loved the college library. It was freaking fantastic. It was wonderful. Um, and I would either go to the college library or I'd go to the computer lab. And those are the things that I was doing. In the computer lab, I was because this is back in the late '90s. I would a part of the fledgling Jedi community back then. I would spend time in the computer lab, like debating with Jedi and stuff like that. So, like, yeah, no, ridiculous. You just need to put me in a room full of books and we're good. I'm gonna learn that way, you know. You can say whatever you like, Zeno. It is an open floor, my friend. It is an open floor. Those are pretty cool degrees, philosophy and sociology. Yeah, I did it because of the Jedi community. I thought they would make me a better Jedi. I thought they would, you know, that was important stuff to learn as a Jedi. Back then, that was my goal. That was my goal. I wanted to be a Jedi. I wanted to be a Jedi Knight. That was my goal. So I was looking um, at what, you know, what did I want to go to college for? What did I want? And philosophy, clearly, because Jedi philosophy, right? And sociology, the understanding of society in general and people and how those things kind of build up. It's like it's watered down anthropology, I guess. It's yeah. I guess you water down anthropology, you water down psychology, and then you throw them all together and you get sociology. The development, study, and history of social structures and society. It's definitely interesting, especially when it came to Jedi community, because you could see how it was being how they were being built and the cultures that were being encouraged and the rules, and then the lack of leadership and things like that, and the lack of cohesion and things. It was really interesting to watch. It also didn't help because that made me fight with them a lot because I was just like, you guys are setting up the wrong culture here. This is all just going to lead to the wrong culture, and sure enough, here we are. I'm not going to say I told you so, but you know, I told you so. But yeah, they can be fun. Philosophy, the one I hated, and because I said I'm not good with math, I don't like math. Hated logics class. Thought I would love logic. Thought I would love it, and uh, I love logic. I love logical thought. I love logical concepts. I love logical thinking. But learning the class logic is horrible for me because it is like the weirdest level of algebra there is, or worse, or like calculus. I don't know. I never got that far in math, but they use logic uses a lot of symbols, and it basically uses a form of math with symbols to try to put together thoughts, you know, like, so you would have something like uh, a plus b minus c equals, you know, e. and you would have these things, and A meant something, B meant something, C meant something, and that was like how you were supposed to formulate your arguments and things like that. And then there's the logic symbol, which is 3 dots and basically a triangle, and logic has all its own symbols, and you have to learn all those own symbols. It's not just letters, right? So you would have to use all these symbols and and to try to formulate a logical argument, and it was just not fun. I hated logics class. But yeah, I majored in philosophy, minored in sociology. I spent 2 years at college, and again, I ditched like my major classes that you need, such as your math requirements and your English requirements. I ditched those to go to the college library and computer lab. And that's where I spent most of my time, my college time, which again, learned a lot, but not officially. They do not reward you for knowledge. They reward you for checklists. And so, yeah, school systems, not my, me and school systems don't really get along, but that's me and authority in general. So it's all right. Yeah, you know, you can, floor's open just because I'm rambling here, you know, if you want to continue on to discuss friendship and kind of explore that, as I said, my partner right now is dealing with a really tough, friendship, issue where, there's the potential that the friendship may end, because a person's being silly, because they've put on blinders, because they've entered into a relationship that's not healthy, and they think and they feel happy, and so they don't understand why their friends aren't happy for them. And hey, I've been there. I've been in relationships where I've absolutely loved a person, loved them, with everything, and people kept telling me no, and my friendship suffered because they were like, dude, this is bad for you. And then they watched me, as that relationship indeed eventually broke down, as they said it would, no fault of my own. I wasn't the most mature, I wasn't the best, in the relationship, but again, it's not like I did something that broke anything, but they had to watch me break down. And then of course your social circle breaks down. But some people, they do that on purpose. They want you to feel alone. They want you to not feel like you have anywhere to go or any friends to do. So, my friend, one of his friends sent a voice message threat. Since a threat, though, I was making fun of my old friend Dylan. We used to play Fortnite together with friends too. So let's see. So your friend, one of his friends, sent a voice message to you. My first time experience is receiving a threat on voice message. I had someone do that before, but it was an ex of a girl I was dating. This I shouldn't say girl. I mean, she was like 40 at the time. So this woman that I was dating, her ex sent me threatening messages. Had to block him on all things. We used to play Fortnite together with friends too. So one, sorry you had someone send you a threatening message. I feel there's more here, right? It's just like the chat cut you off. So I'm waiting for the rest. No rush. Like don't feel you have to rush. One of his friends said, making fun of my old. Thought I was making fun. Oh, they thought I was making fun of my old friend Dylan, but you weren't. Because again, friendships. That sounds hella toxic. Hope your partner chooses their well-being though, because that's quite a rabbit hole when they got their blinders on. It really is. It's super toxic. Unfortunately, their friend is in a relationship that's not healthy, and they put their blinders on, and then they're like getting they're getting busy at their friends while their friends are worried and concerned, and again, you can't do anything. All you can really do is be a friend, wish them well, and understand, and be like, all right, well, be here when you get back, I guess, because all things are temporary, man. And I don't know if they want to go that way, but it's super toxic because you gotta be careful. There's narcissists out there, and narcissists, what they do is they try to invade your friend group and tear you from it. One of my exes, great example, and very much pulled me away from California Jedi, because even after they broke up with me and then went around, telling people what a horrible person I am, they continued to do that inside California Jedi, the group that I was a part of. And they just kept, and then so I wasn't comfortable going in there anymore, because I wasn't trying to be in the same place as the person who broke up with me, who broke my heart, and then was telling everybody what a piece of crap I am. Right. So I wasn't going to those things anymore, which was effectively cutting me off, or trying to cut me off from my friends. But my friends in that group, of course, we don't need that group to communicate, right? That's not the only place we talk. That's not the only place we communicate. So I still got my friends. Like, me and my friends were good. We've been through this. We're older. That's high school games, man. That's so childish, right? So yeah, but we got through that, and people do that though. People try to cut you off from your friends, and it's why I always tell other people, like I've told my partner, you just got, like, don't bury him for this. Like, wait, like, you don't have to put up with it, and you don't have to do anything. But when they come back around, when all this ends, make sure you're there to, like, help dust them off, because one, they're gonna need it, and two, they're gonna need some support. And it sucks to feel like you're cut off alone, because then you kind of gravitate back towards that person. You always kind of gravitate back towards that person, because one, you have feelings for them, and two, now you have nobody, right? Your friend circle's cut off, your social circle's cut off, your support system's cut off. You feel you've burned every bridge because you defended your partner to the death, and now you look like an idiot, right? It's very ego driven. And so, like, you can feel like you can't go back to them. You feel like you can't go back to your friends, but you can. And maybe some people will keep that door shut, but as I was telling my partner, just make sure you have the door open. Like, don't let them feel completely alone. Unfortunately, things changed when I got my new job. Plus, I just turned 29 and embraced the maturity level of adulthood. Fortnite was his obsession, not as a hobby, but life. I definitely understand that one. Quoting that. All right. We are not afraid to feel. Jedi feel all the time. That's a lovely misconception. But yeah, that's friendship changes with that. I've had that one too. Dang, my guy, you went through it. Yeah, it was fun. I chased that girl for years though. It was my own stupid fault. It was my own stupid fault. The things you do when you're in love, you're like, right? Yeah. But yeah, it was a fun experience. A good experience though. It's important to know. It's an experience that's found in the book over here. Because it's important to understand how we go through heartbreak and how we go through all that stuff and everything. I told Dylan I was leaving Fortnite and his friends. He didn't take it lightly. They're all in their 20s still, and been smoking too much, which I didn't, and I didn't like that. That's fair. Is that a 49ers cup? Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have season tickets to 49ers, so I go to the games often. So yeah. Let's go back here. So I didn't like that. They didn't eat healthy foods like me, organic foods. They eat. See, this is where the interests diverge and stuff. Love makes the smartest men the stupidest at times. Ain't no lie. That is absolutely no lie. Facts. Been there. Absolutely. I think we all. Yeah. I mean, that's just truth. But yeah, did it. Went through it, and from there, you know, had those experiences. But again, those are things that we. Right. Where is it at? Nope, not that one. Activity. Melbo's activity. Pass on what you have learned. Pass on what you have learned. Find something you're good at. No, wait. Is that the one? Is that the one that I'm thinking of? I think there's a different one. Which one was it? But pass on what you have learned. I think that still applies. Yeah. I think that's the one I was thinking of. But yeah, pass on what you have learned. The mistakes, the experiences, good or bad, right? Good or bad. We have these experiences and we pass them on, and we are what they grow beyond, right? Like, here's what I went through, and things of that nature. So yeah. So like we were talking about this earlier with friendships. Sometimes that they drift apart because your focus has changed. The things that you spend your time on change. And that's fine. You can still like a person, but realize, hey, we just don't have the same things in common anymore. We don't have anything to talk about. My mind, this is what I'm focused on. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at in life. And these are the things that I want to do. And unfortunately, you don't have time for everything. You just don't. It's why the misconception of video games is a childish thing, is because there's this misconception that you just don't have time for them. And it's technically there is a technicality of where that's true. And if you're working a very specific job, if you're doing this very specific thing, and that's where your passion is, and that's where your research is, and that's what you're reading about, and that's what your life is about, then yeah, you're not going to have time for like video games, you know. But again, there's jobs that are in that industry, so that is very much gonna be your wheelhouse. Then there's other jobs or other things that you're doing with your life, which still lend you time to enjoy the video games that you enjoy. There's always that thing. But we only have so much time. And what we choose to focus on and what we choose to dedicate our time to is ultimately going to affect our friend circle. It doesn't technically affect our friendships. It just affects our friend circle, meaning that if we're not spending our times doing the same thing, and if we don't really have the same interests, we're just not going to have a lot to talk about anymore. You can still like a person. You can still like how they approach life. You can like how loyal they are. You can like how supportive they are. You can like all these intrinsic characteristics and qualities about a person, but ultimately realize that they don't mesh with your life anymore. And that's important not just for friendships, but romantic relationships as well. Understanding that you can love someone truly. You can truly love someone and appreciate them, like who they are as a person, but realize that your lives do not mesh together. They do not work together at all. And even with the respect, communication, in all of that, it still might not work. Might not go together. So from that, there's just that understanding that we need to go in different ways. It doesn't have to be antagonistic like your friends are making it, right? Your friends are young. They don't know. Where is it? They're sending threats. Like, that's silly, right? That's unnecessary. And it's a misunderstanding of just diverging and paths diverge all the time. It's fine. Success doesn't come from summoning help from the force, but taking control of it and generating power from within yourself. So here's I'm gonna diverge for a second from the friendship. Here's the problem with your little thing right here, right? You've separated the force and yourself. That is just ego, and that's why that mindset doesn't work. The idea that you are somehow separate from the force is automatically wrong. Oh, I did this myself. Well, yeah, everybody does it themselves. No one is everybody does it themselves. Is it? But the force, you are the force. You are the universe experiencing itself. To separate you and the force is automatically an ideological mistake within the Jedi philosophy. You already messed up there. This nonsense of spectrums of joys from the heights of joy, blah, 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 blah. Jedi, it's equanimity. And equanimity is about experiencing emotions, all emotions, without the knee-jerk reactions. That's it. So Jedi experience a plethora of emotions. That's both fictional and non-fictional. That's Jediism and Jedi from Star Wars. Jedi in Star Wars, we see them experiencing emotions, the whole spectrum there, all the time. Have you not seen Obi-Wan Kenobi from episode 4 all the way to the Kenobi show? Like, watch all the materials that feature Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you will see, regardless of the actor playing them, the plethora of emotions that Obi-Wan Kenobi experiences, including watching the woman he loves die in his arms. You think that isn't a depth of despair? Get out of here with that nonsense. Eat junk foods and horse around. He can't speak the way I talk. He talks like slang words that are very annoying. Facts, I got yous, V-Bucks, etc. Kid been trying. Here's my thing though. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I mean, like, that's fair. You are allowed to not like that at all. Don't fall into the trap though that slang words equal immaturity. That's actually a form of societal gatekeeping, right? This idea that you have to speak a certain way, and that you have to dress a certain way, and that you have to act a certain way in order to be successful. Like, that's a trap. You don't have to like it. Don't get me wrong. Personal likes and dislikes, you're free. But don't fall into the trap of societal thinking that you have to speak a certain way in order to be respectable. Because that's a trap. That's a trap. Brain in a jar just coming with the facts. People should learn to accept and be comfortable with solitude. There are times when you will be alone, and those times get longer with age. Absolutely. And it's very important. It's also important to have alone time in relationships. As we talked about earlier, there's times, like, if you want to be friends with me, you have to understand I'm not going to talk to you every day. I have my own solitude that I seek myself. And that's important. You got to have your own solitude. You have to have that. And yeah, life is going to present it to you whether you want it or not. And you have to be good with you. You have to be able to understand what you want to do with your time. And that's important to know yourself. Like Zeno here understands where their focus is at and what their interests are and what they want to spend their time on. And I think that's where a lot of people get lost in their solitude, is they don't really feel like they have a direction or things that they want to spend time on. They don't have that hobby. They don't have the reading or whatever they want to do with their time. Heck, video games. They don't have these things that bring them enjoyment in their lives. And so they feel the need to fill it with other people, with other things, with other experiences. And again, that's not judgment. Like, I have no judgment on whatever people do, but for me, I think it's very important. I'm 100% good alone. I got my books, I got my video games, I got projects, creative projects that I'm horrible at, but learning them, researching them. putting together like the Mandalorian suit, the cosplay that I wore for Star Wars Celebration was like a years long project, and but doing that really was, I learned a lot, and it's something to spend time on, and it's not really a team effort, it's something you do yourself, and going hiking, so much like training in martial arts, training in Jedi philosophy, all of that stuff is something that that you have, and yeah, it's about knowing what you want to do with your time, knowing what you want to do with your life, and having that and being comfortable with it is important. Gets under my skin. We've been in a few fights. Truth is, he thinks he's Mr. Big Time. I understand that. Acts tough, ain't tough. Thinking my dude. Don't work out like I do. Dude has his stepfather found out. All right, so let's see. Who gives more shape to sentient history? The good who adhere to the tried and true, or those who seek arouse beings from their stupor and lead them to glory? Again, you're operating in this false dichotomy, Frankie. You're operating in this false dichotomy. One, you think that the good are those who adhere to the tried and true, and when has that ever been good? And then you have these arouse beings from their stupor and lead them to glory. What is that? That's some Old Testament verbiage if I've ever heard it. And it's all false dichotomy. You're operating this full on false dichotomy. You're like 20 years behind. You're 20 years behind on this whole Jedi philosophy thing. You have to break that false dichotomy. You're thinking there's a yin and you're thinking there's a yang. You're drawing a distinction where there is none. You're drawing a distinction where there is none. It's simply it. And until you get past that false dichotomy, you got nothing there, bud. His real dad walked out on him. That sucks. The truth is, he's really messed up in his mind. And trauma does that to people. We're no longer friends anymore, and I'm not going to always be there with him. And that's your choice. That's fair enough. Hey, we all have our struggles and we all have to do it. And you have your own limitations. You never have to be someone's friend just because you feel you need to be their friend. That's not how friendship works. You have to do what's right for you. You have to do what's important for you. We all have our limitations, and that's important in all relationships, in friendships, or we're talking romantic relationships, any of it, work relationships. You have to understand your limitations. You have to understand how much you can give of yourself and of your time, and how much you're not willing to, and understanding that. And friends, people who respect you, people who care about you, will respect those boundaries, but you definitely have to put your boundaries up in every friendship and every relationship. Otherwise, people will take advantage of them, and they might not even realize they're taking advantage of it. They just might think they've not hit your boundary yet. They might think they have not hit your limitation yet. So you really do have to you have to put in your limitations, your boundaries. You have to make sure, and that's about knowing yourself. You have to put in that self work to know what you're willing to give of yourself, how much you have of yourself to give, and when you need to recharge, and when you need to take the break, and when you need to step back, So that's fine. Plus, I'm going to Europe for the first time. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where are you going in Europe? Where are you going in Europe? I've been there a few times. I fully recommend traveling if, that's a very privileged thing to be able to travel and experience different cultures firsthand, which is why I also recommend just like, going to Barnes and Nobles, sitting down, or watching like a Discovery Channel or Travel Channel and something, and really trying to immerse and explore culture that way. It's still good. Like doing that is still good. So I recommend that, because exploring culture and cultural history and history of different places is definitely good. So if you can get there firsthand, that's good. But where are you going in Europe? Or hear me out, instead of having humans bless them all the time. I used to work at a kennel, and so every day at work I would get to meet dogs and doggos, and it was phenomenal. And they were definitely better than most humans. So can't confirm. Oh yeah, I'm here with Mobile. Can't confirm. Doggos are great. 100% recommend. Dogs are great. They're lovely, and they all have their own personalities, and they all have their own things. So like people, you have to adjust personality and set boundaries, and you still, all those relationships still require boundaries and communication and respect. So I think everybody can understand what you're going through. I think we've all been there. I think we've all had, I think everybody here has had friendships end. You know, especially, that it comes with age. Honestly, it's one of those things that as you get older, you realize, one, I'm always amazed at people who have the same friends from high school. Because I'm like, how are you still friends? I'm not friends with anybody from high school anymore. And I used to have a friend. We lasted years. We lasted into about our 30s from high school. And it was, because we still were doing some of, immature, silly things. And we still kind of understood one another. And we were still willing to have fun and do silly, And, but as I was progressing in life and as I was doing things, they were progressing in life in a different way. Basically, they were settling in life. They were doing that thing where they got the job that they'll probably retire doing, and they were just basically playing call. They were coming home from that job, which was a taxing job. Like it was, you're talking 9-10 hour days, and they would come home, and they would grab like a thing of beer, and they would play Call of Duty, and that was their life. It was very masculine, macho, like just boring bro dude stuff, right? And as I started progressing and started going, like when I was going through like the police academy and things like that, our friendship just started sliding downhill. Like we just like more and more and more distance. And then as I was, start focusing more and more on like, doing the documentary and going through all these things and all of that. Well, I guess we didn't make it into our 30s. Yeah, I guess we didn't. But, as I was doing like the documentary and stuff like that, we were just two different people, and we just went into two different directions, and he had to take the road where he sent me, I wouldn't say a threatening message, but just being like, he was the one calling off the friendship. He was the one being like, don't worry about it, man. We haven't been friends for a long time, like that kind of stuff. Right. And yeah, you go through it. And I remember being heated at the time because I did not like that. Because it was he was trying to throw me under the bus for something, right? That didn't happen. And again, overdeveloped sense of justice, like I was like, none of this is right. But those friendships, they diverge, and you have to focus on you and go. And when you focus on you, when you focus on the things you love, you're going to find your new circle. You're going to find your new friends. That can be hard. As Brain in a Jar said, sometimes before you find a new circle, you're going to have to spend some time alone. And there's going to be a transition period between those. And you're going to find that, things. But as long as you have your interests, as long as you have the things that you want to do, you'll be good. And you will find the people that resonate with you, and that the people that you can build a new friend group with, that are going in the same direction or similar direction as yourself, and exploring and grow and uplifting. You can continue that uplifting thing. So actually, see, yeah, I figure everybody in this chat's been there. I'm going to Europe with my parents to London, Germany, Paris, Italy, and Switzerland. Oh, so you're doing a full tour. That's wonderful. So yeah, Europe. That's wonderful. I haven't been to Paris. I think that's the one place on that list. I haven't been to Switzerland either. I haven't been to Paris or Switzerland. I've been to France. I haven't been to Paris. And I did not go to Switzerland, but I am looking to get up to that area. I'm actually going to planning a trip for Norway at some point. Don't have any definitive dates, but yeah, all wonderful places to check out and see. It sounds like, oh, here it is. What an experience. I 100% agree. Sounds like an absolutely fun on your things. I'll be gone for 10 days, 2 weeks, and won't be back until September 4th. That's awesome. That's wonderful. Have fun with it. Take some pictures. Enjoy it. Blow up the gram. Really do stuff. Take some videos. Really be a part of it. Really be really be there. Really immerse yourself. Really like the activities. Try some new foods. Try some new flavors. Try some new stuff. Try really try the different cultures. Try the different music. Try the different foods. Try it all. Really get enjoy it. Be there. Dig into it. Hands on. Elbow deep. Really have fun with it. And document it. You'll appreciate that stuff later. I'm horrible at it. I don't even really have stuff from when I went. I have very little pictures from when I went, but absolutely thing. Keep up the great work, Obi McLeod. Will do. Have fun, man. Thank you. If you are alone and are having trouble being comfortable in it, do a read up on Charles. Life and his writings. Spoke a lot about solitude and how can't recommend his writings more. Really love his stuff. If you get, I think on Amazon they have a book of his essential writings or whatever. Highly recommend it. It's fun. It's floating around here somewhere, but highly recommend. Absolutely, it's good advice. It's really worthwhile. It's really worthwhile. Really good stuff. But yeah, 100% recommend all of his stuff. Hello, Roz. Welcome. Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's good stuff. It's good writing. It always made me sad that when you looked at throughout the years, there's been essential reading in the Jedi community, and he has never been on that list, not once. Even on my own, which is an oversight on my part, for sure. But never once. It was really disappointing. I wish it had been recommended, especially in my early days, especially when I was in college, and because I did have those moments, and I really wish his writings had been pushed as recommended material. Instead, we got the basics in the Jedi community. We got the Dao Yi Ching and stuff like that, and that's get out of here with that stuff. 100%. Would have done way better, and I think our community would have turned out better if in the late 90s that's who we were talking about, instead of telling people to read 365 Zen. Can I get a poll when you're ready? Absolutely. Do you want a random? The cards are mixed up right now. And how many? Or do you want a specific one? Do you want a specific category? Or do you want a random poll? Or do you want one card? Do you want 3 cards? Is his work easy to read, or is it something that really needs to be focused on? Actually, really easy to read. 100%. If you get his book, again, not everybody's thing, but you can go to Barnes and Nobles. You can go to any library. Go to your local library. Libraries are great. Pick up his stuff. It's actually really easy to read. It's one of those books. It really works for me in the way my brain is. It's one of those books where you can just kind of flip open to a page and read it, and you're going to get something out of it. You're going to get something out of it. Almost guaranteed. It's very easy to read. He writes in a very clear manner. It's, he's going, if you haven't read him before, he's going to break out. He's going to definitely offer some insight and stuff like that. But yeah, no, his views, I mean, I'm talk about a spirit animal right there. Sure, I'll take a random. Okay. I wish I was introduced to him in high school. His work is just so on point and real. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wish I was introduced to him in high school as well. Another person it's harder to find his stuff on is John Trudell. Also really easy to read, but and you know, definitely a lot more activism in his stuff, but like as necessary, but also very, very real and very, very like clear and you know, about the human and for John Trudell, like the American quote unquote experience, you know. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go up. I just wanna boom. That his stuff is on point. It's like it's gonna resonate. I think. I think, you know, like it's easy to read. It's not something. Again, I feel it's one of those books that you don't have. No matter what book of his you get, you can just flip open a page and you're good. You know, poet, writer. Obviously, he has some novels, and that would be difficult to do because novels are difficult to just flip open and start reading. But his essential writings that are broken up, obviously, you can just flip open and enjoy. His poetry books, the collection of his poems, you can flip open and just start reading. It's kind of like yeah, I don't know. I highly recommend it. All levels of life. That's definitely the person you want. And yeah, I wish I was introduced to him in high school. 100%. The younger, the better. The younger, actually, probably not too young. That might lead a different, but definitely high school. 100%. The fact that he's not recommended reading or required reading is a sham. So. Which book for Rossi as a first read? Post Office or Poems, like it was corrected there, but Poems of the Last Night on Earth. Both really good. Easy to relate to too. I would agree with that. Again, the book that I have is just a collection. It's a essential writings, and it's stupid. Like, it's just good. It's just good. All right. All right. I'll do a draw for Roslyn. All right. The Force, the Source, the Force, the Source. One, please. One. The Force, the Source. What do you have for Roz? What does Roz need? All right. Never mind. You got two. I'll flip this out. You got some guidance and some inspiration. So, your inspiration is one we have seen quite a bit of, and I'll do the book for you. Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Are you still following fools, Roz? Don't follow fools. Have faith in others, but don't follow them blindly. Trust your judgment to know when someone is a worthy leader. Pick a worthy leader, Roz. I don't know. I feel like I've pulled this one for you before. If not for you, I know I've pulled this one a lot since we've started this for sure. Let me get the book for you. Page 15. Right to it. Right to it. So we'll get into it. All right. Obi-Wan Kenobi's plan to escape the Death Star is dangerous and uncertain, and Han Solo is the first to let him know that fact. But since Han doesn't have a better idea, he decides to follow Obi-Wan's lead anyway. Have you ever done something you would consider foolish? I have. I've done a whole plethora of things that I've considered. Was it your idea or someone else's? Generally, I've done both. I have a heaping pile of experiences in both. I've followed someone's stupid idea, and I've had quite a few stupid ideas myself. So, could you have come up with a different plan if I had been a little bit more patient? Absolutely. If I had been a Jedi at the time, 100%. But there you go. Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? Have faith in others, but don't follow them blindly. Don't follow anyone blindly. Don't follow anything blindly. All right, Roz? So that one's yours. But you got some guidance here. And another familiar face on the guidance cards. Every journey begins with a first step. Have patience when a task seems overwhelming. Start by doing one small thing rather than everything at once. So don't try to do everything yourself, Roz. I am a worthy leader. Yes, you are. But don't try to do it all yourself. Have a little patience. Start by doing one thing small rather than everything at once, and you get there. There's never a stupid idea, just poor execution of ideas. I can prove you wrong. I could prove you wrong on that, because I'm pretty sure it was a stupid idea to run across a freeway to spray paint the side of a concrete medium. So yeah, an LA freeway. Let's be clear on that. An LA freeway. This isn't some middle of the night 2-lane highway in the middle of nowhere. This is a 5-lane freeway on LA. That was a stupid idea. It was not. It's not something I would recommend, by the way. So yeah, no, there's definitely some bad ideas out there. Believe that. Take care, Elise. See you next week. Have fun. Be safe. Gotcha. Damn, read my mail. And LA freeway traffic was moving that day. Yeah, traffic was moving. To be fair, it was like 3 a.m. So not only was it moving pretty quickly. It was moving sporadically, for sure. But absolutely quickly, because yeah, when the freeways are open, people do not do the speed limit out here. They are definitely chilling in that 80s, 90s area. For sure. Definitely some bad ideas. I've had a few. Don't get me wrong. I have moved states to chase a girl. So like, no, there's bad ideas. Poorly executed as well. I could do both at once. I am quite talented. Do not challenge me, sir. Let's see, where are we at? Skoko, hello there, General Kenobi. But yeah, so I think that's where we're at. We've, Zeno, if you're still here. Nope, I think I'm all good. Okay. But yeah, I'm glad. One, it's good to talk about, and it's good to think. So I think you've seen where like everybody's supported you, and everybody's kind of gone through that struggle of friendship, and the it's just not a fun experience to lose. Like when a friendship's split apart, they don't just drift apart, but they're actually split apart, and it gets ugly. Like that's never any fun, and that's tough. But you just have to focus on you, and you have to focus on the things that you're doing, and just move in that direction. It's sad, it sucks, but again, solitude is not a bad thing. Give you a lot of time to work on the self and to drive in a very specific direction, so you're good. And then you'll find your new circle, and it'll be good for you. Sometimes it takes a while, but it's all good. Kind of think about it. I did get married, so there are bad ideas. Yeah. I've done that one too. It was not the best idea I've ever had, for sure. But we did have a Star Trek wedding, and the Star Trek part of it was amazing and wonderful. And Star Trek, the experience, no longer exists. So we got to be there and got to experience it before it was all torn down and taken away. But to be married on the bridge of the Enterprise, to have the wedding reception at 10 forward, drinking Romulan ale and Vulcan mind melds and Surian brandy, and to be able to hang out and get something to eat at Quark's bar, Deep Space Nine looking bar. It was a really cool bar. To do all that was absolutely fun. The marriage part, though, probably could have done without that part. Could have done without that one. As someone who has also done stupid things, so we've had bad ideas and executed them poorly. So it's we're all around here. We're really good at all of it. You missed the universe WID, friends. It could always be worse, though. Never complain about the hell you are in, because the hell you could be in is always worse. True enough. It could always be worse, but it could always be better, too. That's why you just got to be present in the moment. Everything that you're doing right now, the present moment is. And comparison is the thief of joy. It's not even about comparison. What's better? What's good? What's worse? What's better? None of it. Forget all of it. Throw it all out the window. Because life is life, and all we have is this moment. We can't do anything about it. If you can do something within this moment, if you can act within this moment to make it better, do it. If you can't, then forget it. Throw it out the window. Read some Charles. Go to it. There's always something. Play a video game. Who knows? We are all the Elon Musk of bad ideas. Elon Musk is the Elon Musk of bad ideas. I remember when a bad idea ended in a divorce. Yeah. See, we're all floating around the same pages. Obviously, for those watching, especially for the younger audience, no one is saying that marriage itself is a bad idea. It's just about being very cognizant of who you are being with. It's about that relationship, right? This whole video has been on friendship and relationships in general, and understanding where you're going in life, what your focuses in life are, and where your partner is, and whether or not you have time, your own limitations, your own boundaries, their limitations, their boundaries. How do those things mesh together? How do your interests and focus mesh together? Are you moving in the same direction? Do you have similar aspirations? Do you have similar ambitions? You kind of want to be flowing. They don't have to be the same thing, right? But it's important to continue to grow upward and to have that thing. Or if that's not your thing, being with someone who is about staying on the same level, right? It's about that, being that equality kind of thing. You want to be on the same level with your partner. On all levels, really. You want to have that same understanding and that same stuff. So all relationships, we've been talking about it all 2 hours. All 2 hours from the very first card polls have been on friendship, which automatically translates to any relationship, working, friendship, romantic relationships, all of it, family relationships, all of it across the board. You need that communication. You need that respect. You need to have those things where where you understand one another, right? And that you're able to communicate needs as well as limitations and boundaries and talk. You have to have that stuff and all of it. So marriage itself is now we're all having a little bit of laugh at ourselves and our own choices. Don't be scarred. Marriage itself is not what we're talking about. We're not saying anything against relationships or romantic or otherwise, but understanding your own solitude and having that's not a bad thing. Understand that that's not a bad thing. Understand solitude's not a bad thing. Understand really getting to know yourself first, and none of these are bad things. You are worthy of love no matter where you are at in your stage in life. But it's always good to really focus on the self and to work on that and to understand what love means to you, and to have your own relationship boundaries and things, what you need, what you're looking for, what you can give, what you can't give. what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate. You need to have these things kind of worked out. You kind of want this thing. This is why we date, you know, in the meantime, so we can work those things out. But yeah, you want to know that stuff, because the idea is when you get into a relationship, as my partner likes to say, you're either dating to break up or you're dating to get married. Those are your, like, that's what you're doing. If you're just there to waste time, then you're dating to break up. You're just wasting time. You're just doing that stuff, you know? So definitely, if you're going to get into a relationship, have a good understanding of yourself and what you're looking for. So hopefully when you're dating, when you have that relationship, when you find it and it meshes and you guys are good and you've tested it out, you've ridden some rough waters together, then you can take that marriage. That's what I didn't do. As Brain in the Jar said, you know, good idea, bad execution. It was a really bad execution on my part. So on both of our parts. And so, yeah, you know, relationships all across the board, whether it's friendships, romantic, otherwise, all of them require respect and communication. You really have to work on those things. Trust is the third major one. So, yeah. Obviously, if I got something going on with a girl I like, do I really want the government involved? Also, a fair notion. Like, you know, some people do it for the government, like reasons with like tax breaks and stuff like that. That's what some people are looking for. But yeah, like love has nothing to do with the government, right? Like, there's the quote that I like that says, "If I love you, what does it have to do with you?" And I think that applies outwardly as well. If I love someone, what the heck does that have to do with the government or anybody else, right? Like, it has nothing to do with them. So they can. Sometimes I think of my bad choices, and when hearing others' misfortunes to put things into perspective, which is nice, even though I feel bad for people who have had terrible experiences. Yeah, for sure. But again, that also goes to something that we have been talking about in this, where we have to share those experiences. We have to share them, good or bad, right? Good or bad. Again, it was the activity card of Yoda, like, pass on what you've learned, you know, and that has to go to this one that we pulled, you know, pass on what you have learned. And, you know, that's mistakes too. That's those poor executions. That's those poor choices that we learn from. And you have to pass on those experiences, not just the good ones, not just the successes, not just the triumphs. You have to pass along the failures, all of it. You know, you have to get rid of that false dichotomy. You have to understand that there's no difference in the experiences, right? We perceive a difference where there is none, right? It's about sharing the experience, not whether or not it was a success or failure, but our own experiences and our own lessons that we went through it, so people can then make their own determination. You know, I tell my kids all my bad ideas, so they learn that. Exactly. There it is. I let my son make bad ideas, so he will learn firsthand. Fair enough. There's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. Marriage to the wrong person sucks. Marriage to the right person, great. Absolutely. We aren't incels here. No, like, it's important to understand. I feel like that culture is just it's a societal issue, really. It's a real societal issue that comes from not teaching people, not having the right recommended reading, required reading at fundamental levels. It really comes from not teaching things about humans and our society and how we function in them, the respect for others, and yeah, it's just it's a failure in teaching. No matter where you want to place it. If you want to place it on parental units, that's fine. If you want to place it in our school system, that's also fine. That's legit. Because again, don't get me started on my complaints against the school system. As we discussed in the chat earlier, my way of learning definitely was much different than most people's. So and Melbo's too. Melbo's skipped all of it, man. Got lucky. But yeah, because that culture is purely a selfish misunderstanding. It's all like self-driven. and doesn't understand the importance of being alone. It doesn't understand the importance of self-growth. It's very, that culture demands service without giving in return. There's this idea of I deserve this because other people have it. And that's not how that works. That's just not how the universe works. Nothing is that way. We have to be in a position to earn things, and earning the respect of others, earning the friendship of others, earning the romantic relationship with others. You have to earn that, and that's a lot of self work. That's a lot of again, communication, trust, respect. That's understanding the person, taking the time to learn about a person. And again, you have to learn about yourself. You have to be in that place. Like friendships that spread apart, you have to understand no one owes you anything. No one owes you their time. No one owes you their listening. No one owes you anything. So yeah, you have to do that. Learn more from bad experiences than good ones, it seems. It can be. It's all about just learning in general, I would say. Again, I feel like that's a little bit of a false dichotomy, and that might be a societal thing, where we really hang on to this false dichotomy of good versus bad or whatever. But all of it's a learning experience, because even in our quote unquote good experiences or our successes, there's always things we could have done better. And there's always things where we lucked out. And there's always things that learning a pattern of quote unquote success is also something worth learning. Because what good is a good experience is if you don't know how you got there, right? You have to see how you truly got there. And that's the same for failures. It's the same for bad experiences. You have to understand, how did I get here? How did this happen? Why did this go through? Right? You have to dig into it. And if you dig into it, you're going to learn regardless. I don't think there's a more or less on the idea of good or bad. Again, I think that's a false dichotomy. I think all experiences are important. The good experiences are great, and they're wonderful learning experiences if you take the time to dig into them. Most people don't, though, because hey, it's good, and they move on, and I'm celebrating this good, and I'll be in this good, and they actually just let it go over them. Where the bad experiences, they hurt, they hit, and you're like, why am I here? And the bad, if we will, experiences really gear them towards self-reflection, because we don't want to feel that way again. So we want to avoid those things, but we should be doing the exact same thing, whether good or bad. We should be looking at the self-reflection, looking how we got here, and looking at the factors, what we can learn from them, and how we can either A, avoid them in the future if we can. Sometimes don't have that option. And B, how can we keep it going? Or how can we even get better? How can we have an even better experiences? Because you can have a good experience and then go back for that good experience with the things that you learned, and then have a great experience, And there's adult examples floating through my mind this could absolutely pertain to. So you can have these things where it's all learning experience. This is a good experience. This is a great experience. And this is an experience that's never going to happen again, because it was that was too good to happen. Still all worth learning from. I'll take that solitude learning experience. It's a good one to have. I've had it for years. I've been years with no relationship in my friendships. Again, as I've said on here many times, my relationships my friendships, while I've had them, are sporadic in communication and hangouts and things like that, especially when I'm on my own. So I've been months on my own, been years romantically not involved, and not. And during that time, it was never I need to go get someone. It was I was having fun. I was reading. I was exploring things. I was you get to use your time. If you want to use your time, that's always fun. If you feel like just dipping out somewhere and going to go camp at a extinct volcano, you could just do that. You don't have to sync up with anybody's schedule or anything like that, right? There's a little freedom there to have fun with that solitude stuff, where you could just do those things, And you don't have to consider anybody else's thing. And so I've had that, and that's, hey, it has its pluses and it has its minuses, like all things in life, right? A really great relationships has a lot of pluses. It'll still have some of its minuses. That's just how that goes. But it's always a give and take in life. It's always going to be a give and take. It's just a matter of where you're at, what you're comfortable with, and what you want to do. The solitude is great. Hey, my friends know very much that I need my like alone time, that I need my stuff where I just disappear for a bit, where I'll just, go off and I'll go reading for a bit or something like that. Like, it's fine. I've done that at Jedi gatherings where I've disappeared for a whole day and I was just up in a room, with someone else, and we were just reading books, and we weren't talking, we weren't doing anything, we were just reading, and we weren't interacting with anybody at the Jedi community. We were, off on our own, just kind of reading. So yeah. You should also learn to really enjoy the small things, as we as a society have really forgotten how to do this. Very true. One of the Jedi practices that I really like is the full awareness meditation, which is a walking meditation where you take a walk in a park, around the block, something like that. A place that's, relatively safe that you can do that. And you just kind of focus your attention on the small things, on the details. Stop and like really look at the plants, flowers, trees, bugs, things like that. Like, really pay attention to, open yourself up to that moment and the small things within that moment, the intricacy of life and all the little things that make it go, the water, the trees, the bugs, how all those things kind of work together, the dirt and the flow of life and all the life happening around it. And it's we call it the full awareness meditation. Again, walking meditation. It's never recommended to do full awareness for longer than like 20 minutes because it can be really draining on the senses and things like that. It can really be a lot. But it's one of the things. It's important to enjoy the small moments. It's important to go out to your favorite coffee shop, grab a cup of coffee, and really enjoy that coffee, really embrace the flavor, really be in that moment, people watch or what have you. Really notice the weather, really be in it, really be a part of it. And as you say, appreciate those small things. If you can sit outside and just enjoy the weather, the sun or whatever, the wind, anything like that, to really take that time and do that, to really get down to basics, sit in the grass or something like that, like, it's important. It's important to really have those small moments, those quiet moments, and to really appreciate them and be a part of them, be in them, be within that moment. And it really does make a difference. It really does make a difference. It really helps your perspective. It really helps if you have questions and things that you're wondering about in life. I always recommend take the notebook with you, because sometimes those thoughts will come and you want something to record them and things of that nature. I did a lot of that a few years ago. I'd smoke weed and just explore the creek I'd go to. Yeah, exactly. Like, just be in there and be in that moment. Like, go relax. I used to do that a lot when I went hiking. When I used to live in Burbank, California, and they have these like foothills. And I used to know all the trails there, and I'd just go up hiking, and I'd just go walking for a day and really be in it and really be a part of it and get to the top. And that being at the top of the mountain is where I always enjoy. Well, not mountain, but getting to the top, I always found that solitude and and to experience that moment. You get to experience that moment. You get to experience just being there and the feeling, the sensations, and life happening. Like, if you can get to like a foothill or a mountain or something like that. When I was in Europe, speaking to Zeno's trip coming up, when I was in Europe, I continually think one of my favorite experiences was hiking Mount Vesuvio. And I hiked Mount Vesuvio, and I got to the top, and just being at the top overlooking everything was wonderful, and it was a great experience. And I just sat down. Well, at first I got a shot of Melancello, which was probably not the best idea when you've like sped hiked up a volcano, but it was fine. It worked out. It was all right. But then But then I got to just sit out on a rock and overlook, this volcano that overlooked the city and everything, and just really be there and be a part of it. And it was an amazing experience. And so, yeah, if you can do one of those things where you can just appreciate those small things and appreciate the moment that you're in, it's going to be wonderful. Go walking. I go walking in my yard barefoot. Yeah, exactly. I think we need to stay grounded. I think I know it's a limited study, but I'm pretty sure that I read a research paper that was talking about that there's an actual change in walking barefoot in like whether you're at a park, backyard, anything like that. If you can kind of ground yourself that way, walking barefoot, reconnecting with the earth, that it actually has an effect. That must have been a mission. What Mount Vesuvio? Yeah. It wasn't that bad. Like they get a lot of tourists, so they have a pretty well maintained trail for the most part, and it's pretty wide, in most areas to get up to the top. Because again, like you can get like a lot of people there. I went pretty early in the morning, and it was a pretty overcast day, which made it perfect because I was still. Because yeah, it's still a hike. It's still fun, but I had fun, man. Like I went right up there. I think I still have some videos. Like I took a couple, like selfie videos doing it, but it was a lot of fun. It was definitely, and yeah, I was definitely sweating. I was definitely sweating, for sure, during that time. So it was fun. Reject modern convenience, embrace. Yeah. I think it's always important to get back to basics. I'm all about the balance. I'm all about enjoy all of it. If you playing that video game, if you're in your room and it's quiet and it's dark and you're playing the video game and you're just enjoying it and you're just there and you're in it and it's that vibe, it's that good. Be there too. Like you can do that too. Like that full Jedi experience, that thing, you can use that in that situation too. Don't let those moments get past you. Don't let those moments disappear. If you're good and you feel good, then like stop for a second, acknowledge it, be in that moment, like, and understand that experience and look at it. It's a good one to have. That's something I've been missing in my practice lately. Also, hello, Corey. Good to see you here. Being outdoors. I've been so busy that I haven't really had time to go connect, which speaks to time management. Time management can always be tough, especially for someone like myself. But yeah, it's definitely something that it's always a good practice, and I think it always makes a difference. Marta, hi, glad to see you guys joining us. What's up, Marta? Corey, glad to see you guys. But yeah, it's definitely one of those better things to sit down, connect. But again, it's all about the experience itself and being in the moment. It doesn't always have to be nature. Nature is definitely great, and it's definitely where we need to get back to, I think. I think we need to have more respect for it, and we definitely need to move more back into that direction and reestablish that equilibrium. It's 100% needed, but also, like, don't let those other moments in the modern slip away either. Don't let those moments where you're maybe reading a book and it's quiet and it's nice and you're chilling there and you're having like a cup of coffee or something, and you're reading this book and like really take in the flavor of the coffee, really take in the texture of the pages, really take in the coolness of the room you're in or something of that nature, right? Like really ground yourself. You can do the full awareness meditation really anywhere. Really embrace, really be in the moment, really take a part of it, and really, like understand, like here's where you're at and that you're good right now, and like really try to cement that feeling and that experience in your mind so that you can draw back to it later. Meditation outdoors is so legit. It's so much different than meditating in my room. I have to shift to some things around so I can get out there more often. It's definitely great. It's definitely great. It's I tend to do my meditations outside because yeah, it's just good to feel like the sun and the air and stuff on your skin and everything. So yeah. There you go, man. There's really nothing like howling like a wolf or grunting like a chimp. It relieves so much tension. Actually, a very good exercise. In the vampire community, we have a part of the ritual where we end the ritual is howling like a wolf, like letting a howl go. And we've been doing that lately at our vampire lounges when we go in on Wednesdays. We tend to go to these vampire lounges, and we've been having these rituals, and then we're there in this like club or whatever, but our group will let out a howl around midnight, and yeah, it's very thing. The grunting like a chimp and stuff, I've done that where you're like pounding on the ground and everything, like just being free and just like I've done the rah during my meditations and things like that, like all of that stuff, just letting it loose. Osho, pretty infamous dude in meditations, also has that stuff like shouting, crying, laughing, howling, like just like letting it go, right? Letting that stuff go and letting that energy go is a great way to just, like, as you say, let it go and really connect and stuff and get primal. It's great to get primal. It's 100% good. I grunt like a chump, by the way, just to be clear. I was dancing in the yard, silent disco, not much of nature. Still counts, as I said, like still counts. It's not always about like getting out there. It's nice, but it's also important to remember where we're at and things of that nature, and building that peace and that vibe and that energy within the areas that we do inhabit. So that's important too. And then dancing, another great way. Movement, free form like katas or bagua or something like that, right? All of that lightsaber work, like just going with the flow. There's a lot of flow artists that use lightsabers. Same thing. It's just about letting yourself move and letting out that tension and then letting that stuff out. Definitely howling though. Like I said, in my other, I'm part of the vampire community as well as the Jedi community. Same thing, like we have that, release of energy, right? So definitely good. Definitely nothing more relaxing than blowing my ears with music. I do when I have meditation that I do, and I'll have the music on loud. Definitely I tend to hold that for my workouts, which is a form of meditation in itself. It's a moving meditation, right? Like, and again, it's the letting out of energy, and it's the but when you do your meditations and you do your workouts and things of that nature, all of that, it's all about connecting with yourself and things of that nature. I always think of the berserker rituals when I howl like a wolf. That's always fun. But yeah, it's always a good one. I think we did like a Norse bloat at a Jedi gathering before, and we had that kind of same thing where like a howling to kind of just let out the energy and stuff like that. So it's good. It's always important to have the things that help you relieve the tension and stuff like that. As I said, Osho has some great meditations on kind of like using the mirror for it, like laughing in the mirror or screaming at the mirror or something like that, like to like let it out, like to release that tension, to release that energy, to and let yourself then you can better reground in the present. You can better refocus in the moment. But it's all about people's comfortability, where they're at, what they're up to, and things of that nature. And so if you can't do something specifically, no, that doesn't mean do nothing, right? So if you can't get out to nature, obviously that doesn't mean don't go meditate, right? There's always the appreciation of where you're at and what you can do, because we can always do something with where we're at within any given moment. Even if that's just sitting down and reciting the Jedi code a few times to recenter the self or whatever it is, or to release tension. One of my favorite ones is the Baji, the Baji elbow. It has like if the Baji, one of the forms, one of the katas, if you will, one of the forms of Baji has this elbow drop that just like, bah, that comes like it's accompanied right with a stomp too, like at the same time, and it's just And that one I love to do sometimes just to get out that, if I'm outside, like just to ground and to release the energy. I really took that from Baji. It was like their elbow, the Baji elbow, man. That Baji elbow drop is definitely what it is. So you got to find what works for you. There it is. Find what works for you. find what works for you. Yeah, you have to find what works for you, and you have to go with it. That's why in the Jedi, at the Jedi Academy that I used to run, we shared a lot of different meditation techniques, and it was about finding which one kind of vibes with you, which one works for you, and then build off of that, run with it, adjust it, play it for you. Like if this really works, but it works better for you out at a park or something like that, right? It's about finding the ones that work for you. Moving meditation, meditations like knitting, or is it sitting meditation? Is it Zazen? Is that more your speed? Is it, a running meditation? Things of that nature. There's a lot out there. Like I said, the one that I really recommend is the Jedi full awareness meditation, which again can be done indoors or outdoors, but like really seeing that connection and really appreciating the small things, really getting into the moment, really paying attention, really bringing your full awareness to that moment is a great one. And it's a great one. Power elbow drop. Basically, I love the Baji elbow, man. It's one of my favorite moves, man. It's one of my favorite. It's absolutely one of my favorite moves, and it really does have that internal, because Baji does have a internal energy focus, despite how aggressive and just powerful it is outwardly as a martial art. It's considered an internal martial art. Not all internal martial arts are soft, like like some versions of Qigong or Tai Chi or something. Not all internal martial arts are soft, man. Some of them are really, really hard. And Baji has that very much, like working on the internal so you can use it for the external. And yeah, that elbow drop is just one of my favorites, man. The whole concept of it is, it's a good one. Chopping wood is a good way to meditate. Chopping wood is a good way. I suck at chopping wood, but it's excellent. Do you know of any good YouTube videos for practicing lightsaber forms? I know there are tons out there, but do you have anything specific that you like or would suggest? I don't, because I've never used YouTube to practice lightsaber forms. I've always taken my own approach, because from very early on in the Jedi community, I wanted to develop lightsaber forms, and more importantly, which I really got done, was unarmed forms, which was martial art forms like katas, basically in the same vein as lightsaber forms. So like my focus was always on my own stuff. So I never actually had an interest in learning the Star Wars forms and where to do that, mainly because like Star Wars itself really they developed concepts of the forms, but they never developed forms in and of themselves, right? They never brought in a martial artist to do that, because that would be a bit extra, and still I would support it if they did, but they didn't. So anything that you see from someone is just their interpretation of that inspiration, right? So it really one, for me, what I would suggest, here's what I would suggest, is pick a form that you really vibe with, the concept of it, right? That you would want to do both as a meditation, but also at like practically. And I know no one's going to be in a lightsaber duel, but like, and not even a sword duel. So it really doesn't matter, right? Even though those still two different concepts, but like pick a form that really speaks to you, read on its inspiration, and then look at learning that, right? So if form 2, for example, is what you just really vibe with, then look into forms of fencing. I have a very specific one. Here's the one I would recommend. Hang on. I know it's up here somewhere. There it is. So if form two is your thing, then this is what I would recommend for fencing. Me personally, that's me personally. But if you enjoy fencing, you can. There's like a million different fencing forms. So like, just look into that. See which one speaks to you. You know. But I can't pronounce it. It's this right here. That's the name of the fencing form that I like, right? And then you practice that with your lightsaber. That's just an example. Again, this is what I do for my love of Form 2. But again, if you love something that's more heavy and stuff like that, then look at the forms, because like this doesn't have like technical forms, right? It has footwork though. It has footwork and how it would work. And if anybody knows me, they can probably guess why I really like this for fencing. But it has concepts in there, right? So you take those and then you develop your own thing. Go with the flow. I'm very much a go with the flow kind of person. So do I have anything that I recommend specifically? Any videos or YouTube videos? No, because I've never gone there. I've never sought to learn lightsaber forms from someone else. I've always sought to learn kind of swordsmanship from the inspiration of the forms, and then make my own with my own knowledge of how lightsabers work and how lightsabers differ from swords. Swords and lightsabers, very two different things, both weight-wise and mechanically. So I adjust them, and I sought to make my own forms and things of that nature, because I'm a fan of the concept of the Bagua circle, right? And the Bagua circle is Bagua. You're going to learn all the movements in Bagua. You're going to do this. They have very specific movements that they want you to learn. They have very specific patterns and forms that they want you to learn, as well as the philosophy. But then you're going to do the Bagua circle, the main practice of Bagua. And in that, you walk the circle doing Bagua moves, but there's no set move. There's no set form. There's no set pattern. There's only two rules to the Bagua circle. One, you're going to walk in a circle, and two, you're going to do Bagua moves while in that circle. Those are your two stipulations. And then you just do those things. And sometimes you start walking in a circle, but then you do a move and it brings you back around. Now you're walking in the opposite direction of the circle, right? While doing the moves of Bagua, kicks, punches, pairing, all that stuff. You're just doing that. And I believe in that much, much more than learning a set form. And again, any video that's trying to teach you that, they're teaching you their concept, their form, because there is no set form. As Melba said, it'd be cool if they did, though, if they brought in martial arts and actually like developed it, be super cool. But the fact is that they don't. So whoever you're watching, you're getting their version, you're getting their concept, and you're getting their form, because there is no official forms or anything of that nature. So I don't have any, just because, and again, that's an authority. I have authority issues, and I'm not going to listen to. I'm not going to go do someone else's thing. I'm going to do my thing that I created, that I spent years researching and studying on, and that's why, like, I have my. The new book I'm working on, I'm actually finally going to release my unarmed martial art forms, kata, if you will. I don't like using that term outside of karate, but the martial art forms, 1 through, I have 1 through 6. I don't think I have a 7. Actually, I have a 7. I might have a 7. If I remember. It's been a long time. But they're all very short. They're very inspired by Sing Yi's 5-element fist. They're very inspired by that linear concept with very specific moves based on the concept of the lightsaber form itself. And so I'm finally going to release that. I used to teach it way back in the day in my Jedi Academy, which was fun. But yeah, it's kind of hard to teach, through that way. But, anyways, see you next Sunday. Got to go to work. All right, man. Have fun, and have fun on your trip. When you get to do that, take care, Zeno. Have fun, man. Have fun. That's awesome. I've been thinking of a form of Tai Chi that incorporates a sword. Yeah, Tai Chi swordmanship is a great one. I'm sure I can put together something there and just switch out the sword. Absolutely, especially if you're learning the Tai Chi swords like that. If you're following a similar style to that, where it's because it has a lot of flow and it has a lot of to it, and that actually lends itself well to a lightsaber, especially at night. I recommend if you can, if your schedule allows it, to really practice it at night with your lightsaber, because it just adds an element. It gets you more in the zone, at least for me, when you can see the blade and the light kind of shine in your I love it. I highly recommend doing it that way. Find that your love, and then look at it. When you're doing it, see where it lends you, see what the philosophy is, and see if that lines up with any of the lightsaber forms of Star Wars, and then just call it that and just go with it. And if it doesn't, make up your own. Like my unarmed forms that it will be releasing, like I called them like falling mountain and things like that. You can have fun with it, dude. Who says you can't? Remember that. Like, who says you can't? Oh man, can't wait to pick up that book. It's gonna be everything. It's gonna be everything. Originally, I was gonna keep it really short, kind of Dao Di Ching style. Like I was gonna keep it like as short as possible, and I've decided to just go in the opposite direction because I'm basically done writing Jedi books. I have one more that I want to do, like maybe in 30 years, which is more focused on the Force itself. Just like I wrote the Jedi Circle, in like 30 years, I want to write, if I live that long, never know, could die tomorrow. But like, I would like to write basically Circle of the Force and kind of incorporate that concept and then write that book. But anyways, off topic. This book, I decided to go in the opposite direction, and I'm basically going to fill it. It's gonna be the history. You're gonna have history there. You're gonna have philosophy. You're gonna have exercises. You're gonna have, and then I want to add in. You're gonna have things on comportment. You're gonna have things on like attire. You're gonna have all these different concepts all kind of brought together, and then I'm going to, and then like tests in there if you want to test yourself for like knighthood. They're basically the tests that I have used when I've been on the knighthood review board at Jedi gatherings. Ones that have like really just pissed people off. I put those there, and I've redid them, to make them much more usable, much more beneficial, and much more for personal markers. And then those are going to be in there. The unarmed forms are going to be in there. So I've kind of just decided to go everywhere, and just like, this is probably going to be my thickest, most expensive book that I have out there. I'll probably drop all the prices to my other books, which, some people might feel robbed about. But and then that one, I'm going to put that out there and just leave it as. And then you get good at it and try it out at a rave club or a flow event. No joke, man. Like flow artists are wild at that. But and a lot of flow artists go to rave events for specifically that reason, to use those lights. They love the light whip too. Oh man, they get really good at it. Like, it's wild. They can make it look like water just flowing in midair. It's unbelievable. The artistry there is beautiful to watch. Absolutely, art in motion, 100%. And the same for lightsabers for people who get good at it, and again, but you don't have to get good at it. It's more about like getting out there, and and just doing it and having fun with it and being in the moment, and use it, have fun with it. Keeps you active, which is good. Moving meditation, also good. Star Wars inspiration, also good. Like, it's a great practice. It incorporates 3 things at once. That's time management right there. You get to tie in your Star Wars time, your moving meditation, your meditation time, and your activity, physical activity time, mush it all together into one practice. So highly recommend. And yeah, just do what makes, have fun with it. Do it that way. It's all about just having fun and as well as growing and applying our path, living our path, living the philosophy. That's all it is. And you can do it that way. So, all right, everybody. Yeah, I think we're out of here. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes. I am done. I am tired. I am hungry. I still got chores to do. I got chores to do. I gotta go vacuum because my dog is still shedding. And so yeah, I got a bunch, and I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat something. So I'm gonna be out here. We should be here same time, 11 a.m. Pacific time, California time, Los Angeles time, whatever makes sense to you. 11 a.m. Sunday. That's going to be our normal time. So first of all, thank you everybody who showed up today. Truly appreciate you. Glad you spent time with us. Glad you were talking in the chat and had questions, and we got to exchange stuff and talk about stuff. Everybody who got some card pulls. So 100% for that. So thank you everybody who showed up. Truly appreciate you. Yeah, I know that pain. I got that too. Got to do that too. As well as dishes. Thanks for popping in, though, OB. Have a good one. Absolutely. Hopefully, we'll be here next week. Should be, again, Sunday, 11 a.m. It's kind of the time that I'm trying to keep these things, and I'll let you know if that changes. I should probably sleep. Go get some sleep. Go do that. Had a lovely time. Likewise, glad you could make it. If you can, awesome. Wonderful. It's always good. Likewise. Corey, always great to see you. Glad you could pop in and hang out. Appreciate it. And things, absolutely. Hey, inbox is always open, right? But yeah, absolutely. Go have fun with it. Go do it. Go enjoy it. And let me know how it turns out. Really interested. All right, we're out of here. I'm out of here. You know what that means. May the force be with you, and I'll catch you next week.